right, hello, welcome. We have with us very special guest, Mr. Alex Whalen.
All right, Malcolm, it's an honor to be here today. We're going to be talking about, the Medicinal Mushroom Symposium.
Yeah, totally. So Alex is one of our presenters at this upcoming symposium, and he will be talking about foraging, and he'll share a little bit of insight about what that talk is going to be. But most importantly, right now in this moment, we wanted to get together and just kind of talk about that path and how foraging is at your fingertips, should you so choose. Just like Alex, coming from a place of, obviously, there was a time you didn't forage, and now you're like a professional forager.
Well, thank you. Well, first of all, it's an honor to be presenting. I look at the other panel of presenters, and I'm like, wow, how am I here with these guys? And I wanted to provide something that's a little more unique and a little something that I'm more passionate about, something that I have more experience with, and that is actually foraging, the experience of foraging. So not just talking about the science of mushrooms, but what does it take to be a forager? And in this particular class that I'm going to be presenting, it's the Boreal forest. So this is true to me. I've been doing this for about 10 years. I've been going up. We have to drive about 4 hours north just to get into the Boreal. And it's a different world out there, Malcolm. It's boggier, the trees are more dense, there's more wildlife. And of course, keeping in theme with our topic, we're after medicinal mushrooms.
Yeah, cool. No, I love the Boreal. You start to see more black spruce, you start to see birch, it really gets more dense and opens up in diversity. No, I love any forest, let's be honest, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you do too.
Oh, yeah.
But there's certain environments, ecosystems that just have a magic to it. And we're grateful that we don't live in the Boreal, we're very close to it.
We are, and I'm going to tell a quick story. About 9 years ago, a fellow named Denis Manzer tried to get me to go foraging with him to the Boreal. And I didn't really know this guy at the time.
Yeah.
And my wife said, just go, have some fun. And I fell in love with it. From the moment we left Calgary to the moment we came back from Calgary. The drive, leaving the city, seeing animals, wildlife, looking at maps, picking our targeted foraging spots, gearing up. Literally everything, Malcolm, was something new to me.
Yeah.
And I think this is what I want to showcase. I want to maybe inspire new foragers, not just in the Boreal, but maybe all over.
That's right. One can forage anywhere. One can forage in the empty lot beside the parking lot next to the Walmart. Hopefully it's a good, clean area to pick. But these are the kind of things that you learn and you'll be sharing about in the presentation. And I love this story of how you've gone, I think let's go all the way back. You came to Light Cellar. How was that 9 years ago? How long ago was that?
Yeah, I think it was about 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So I have worked at Light Cellar and still involved. Denis and I have our company called Boreal Bound. I do the odd workshop here. But yeah, Light Cellar and I go way back.
Yeah, and I distinctly remember it like it was yesterday. You were looking for a career change. You'd been in the public education system as a phys ed teacher.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just admire you for your boldness. That was not an easy decision to make. And you subsequently had to make similar decisions and challenges since, but what you've always done is kept true to your heart and true to this direction of what you're here for and what you want to do and what lights you up. And foraging has been a thread through that, all the way from leaving CBE to, hey, I'm going to work at this little crazy health food store and just because I want to change my life, right?
Right. And thanks for that, Malcolm.
And now, you're partnered with Denis. You guys have Boreal Bound, which is an incredible company that involves you going out, wild harvesting, crafting these medicines.
And we're still teaching. So we guide field trips for schools, for the CB. We take children out to the forest. So it's cool that I'm sort of still teaching, but I get to teach, what I want to teach, what I think is valuable, what I think I can offer and contribute to the future generation. And I'm just going to go back to that story because after I came back from my first foraging trip, I was lit up, I felt grounded. Obviously, there's so many different benefits you get from foraging, you know, you're connecting with the land, your spiritual senses, your connection with spirit are heightened. And of course you come home, well, hopefully you come home with mushrooms, with medicine. And I remember sipping that first cup of chaga tea, and it literally brought me back to the forest.
Yeah.
Like there's something so magic about that. Of course, there's healing properties about all these mushrooms, which I'm going to talk about in my presentation. But it's that experience. It's the memory of you personally being out there yourself,
Totally.
which is captured in that tincture, that medicine. And that stuck with me because at the time I was teaching and it was pretty stressful. You know, my lunch breaks, you didn't get a lunch break. I'm not going to go into that, but I always had a chaga tea. And everyone's like, what is that black stuff you're drinking, Alex, every day? Like, why do you drink so much coffee? And I'm like,
It's not coffee.
it's chaga,
Yeah.
and maybe you should be on it. But no, it's very calming, but it brought me back. And I could not wait until the next time I could go back into the Boreal. And now we go as often as we can.
Yeah.
I mean, we can't really go, you can go in the summer months, but it is very boggy. So it's going to be 3-4 feet of water. It's going to be hard to navigate. Your distance of travel is going to be limited. Of course, the bugs are pretty bad out there.
Yeah.
And actually, there's some theories that the medicine of the mushroom is more potent during the winter months.
Right. Yeah, and there's, everything has a season. There's ideal times to pick and harvest. And foraging, exactly what you shared, is a relationship. And it's a relationship to the land. It's a relationship to the plants, to the fungi, to the medicine, the animals. And it's a connection to nature and these ecosystems that, like you said, in and of itself, that very thing is so deeply nourishing, rewarding, satisfying, everything about that. And then the fact that you get to, pick, harvest, and I know you're going to talk about ethics because that's a big thing about, how to do this in a responsible way, manageable way, to bring that home. Like there's something magical about harvesting your own food and medicine.
It is, and my goal is to inspire as many future foragers as I can. And I want to tell you a bit of a funny story because when I was outlining my class, I had about 10 different topics, from orienteering to safety, to ethics, to gear, to the science behind the mushrooms. And what sparked my interest was actually a funny story of when I got lost in the forest.
Right.
With Denis. This is probably 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Because we try to go 2 to 3 times a year. I got lost. And it was terrible. Like it was 5 p.m., dead of winter, minus 30, snowstorm.
Yeah.
I didn't know where I was.
Yeah, you have no idea which direction is which. I had that happen one time, Boreal mushroom picking.
Yeah.
Because you just get so into it. It's like, oh, here's another one, here's another
Right.
one. You just follow these trails and then you look and it's like it was a burnt forest. You have no idea what direction is what. And you're like, whoa, where is
Yeah,
the
it's true. And so I was using, at the time, I didn't have many primal senses. Well, compared to now, I've been, training every single year. But the one thing I thought would be smart would be to travel my footprints back to the car.
Right.
Because it was winter, right?
Yeah.
So I was following my footprints. It's getting darker. I'm calling Denis. I think we had Brandon with us at the time. There's nothing. A very eerie sense came about me. Right. And I looked down to the footprint, and it wasn't a footprint at all that I was following. It turned out to be a cougar.
Whoa.
So this area that we go to has a lot of cougars.
Yeah.
I was following a cougar. Not the good kind, but yeah. And just then my heart sunk. I thought I was going to be eaten alive. And lo and behold, I was actually quite close to the car. You get disoriented sometimes. Like I was pretty close to the car. And it was that moment that I'm like, I need to do more research. I need to take more courses, learn how to use a compass, learn how to use landmarks. And it's only getting better. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but every year I've been dialing in these skills, which, you're going to see if you join the Medicinal Mushroom Symposium and watch my class. So.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And what I love about foraging is another thing. There's so many things I love about it. Just exactly what you shared. It's like you get into these deeper skill sets that are inherently human, that humans have always developed for themselves, which unfortunately in this day and age is like, oh, I'll just look at my phone, Google Maps. We miss out on, the challenge, the skill of orienteering, right? As an example.
Yeah, and as you know, Malcolm, when we go to these spots, because Malcolm's an avid forager also, oftentimes you have to rely on your primal instincts. You know, where we go, particularly, there's no cell phone service or very limited. So you have to use your navigation skills. Number one is safety, of course. And then, you know, you dive into, the last thing is really finding the mushrooms. So you have to like take care of yourself, take care of your friend. We always recommend foraging with a partner where we go because it's so dense.
Right.
And you can get easily lost, like I said. Although I've never seen Denis get lost. He's got like a 6th or 7th sense there, but
Yeah.
yeah, and then I'm going to be talking about the spirit and legends and myths. I'm not going to give too much away about the legends and myths, but there's a lot of mythology out there where we go and a lot of cool stories.
Yeah,
So.
nice. Well, I'm stoked. Excited for that. So, yeah, hopefully you are inspired to join us too for the Medicinal Mushroom Symposium. It's going to be March 20th to March 24th. It's 5 nights, 10 experts, 10 topics for you to dive into, plus some kind of free events leading up to that. So lightseller.ca, all the details. Registration is there. Alex has a coupon code for you to take $20 off your registration. It is
BB20.
BB20.
So use coupon code BB20 and save $20 off. And I'm sure Malcolm will post a link somewhere up below.
Yeah, 100%.
And use coupon code BB20. And yes, it's an honor to be presenting. So I thank you and I thank Denis, and I can't wait.
Yeah, right on. Cool. Well, I'll have all the details down below, including a link to Boreal Bound if you want to connect with them on Instagram. Really good follow. These guys are doing great work, and yeah, folks can get the products here. You also do a lot of markets like Saskatoon Farm.
Yeah, give us a follow on Instagram. We usually try to have our product stocked at the Light Cellar, and market season is coming, so stay tuned for that too.
Yeah.
May the forest be with you.
Haha, right on. Thanks for tuning in. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.